Hello friends, this is ASP CSP examination series preparation, and in this series we will be discussing about module 7, and we will be discussing about the Environmental Protection Agency laws, regulations. In this discussion we will be also discussing about the model questions from the same topic. Also we will be discussing about various environmental laws, then model questions related to that, past questions, previous questions we will be discussing. Then air pollution, what is the air pollution, EPA criteria pollutants. Then we will be discussing about model questions, right? So water pollutions, what are the types and treatment methods, what is NPDES, all those things related to this topic we will be discussing in detail along with model questions. That is the best part of this. And this is the thorough understanding for giving the examination this much in this topic. Whole of the things we have covered, so just getting a grab into this video would be helpful for you to write the answers from this module if they are asking. Yes, definitely they will be asking. So what is Environmental Protection Agency? What is EPA? EPA is nothing but it's an agency which was established in US in the year 1970, and it was established by President Richard Nixon. It was established by President Richard Nixon. That they won't be asking, but the date is important. It was created to protect human health and environment. Of course, it is there to protect human health, environment, etc. So it is there actually. What is the role of that? It is to set how much pollutants, that is to set standards, how much pollutants can be emitted in the form of various types of pollutants into the air, water and soil. Then it has to monitor the pollutants. So how much pollutants can be emitted, it has to monitor by using various tools and techniques. Then it has to enforce law, like it has to enforce law into these industries, penalize them, put fines and all those things, and educate public, train the public related to the environmental laws. Similarly, all the countries would be having their own environmental protection agency. It would be known by different names. Now, the question would be like this: in which year, what year the Environmental Protection Agency was established? 1970. Very simple. Okay. This is very important. Key environmental laws. What are the environmental laws? Clean Energy Act. Clean Energy Act. I'm very sorry. Always it comes like Clean Energy Act. It's not Clean Energy Act, it's Clean Air Act, CAA. It's very important act. Clean Air Act. So controls air pollution from both stationary and mobile sources, which is very important now. It controls the air pollution, because stationary means factories would be giving air pollutions. Mobile means vehicles would be giving you air pollution. So it would be controlling. Clean Air Act would be, it is a law. It is to control air pollution from both stationary and mobile sources. And it introduced a concept known as National Ambient Air Quality Standard, which is very important, NAAQS, to define safe air quality levels. So how much is the safe air quality levels? What is the safe air quality level means how much amount of pollutants can be there in the air at a certain given point of time. So it has defined NAAQS, and it governs both mobile and stationary sources. That is important. Multiple choice question has come. Sets emission to key pollutants like carbon monoxide, NO2 and O3, ozone. Next act is Clean Water Act. Clean Air Act you have learned. Now Clean Water Act, CWA. So CWA protects various water bodies like rivers, lakes and oceans. Now it requires company to get NPDES. This is very important. NPDES permit, which is National Pollutant Discharge Elimination System. Multiple questions has come. That is why I have highlighted it, NPDES. So before any company, before discharging any pollutants into the water bodies, it should get NPDES permit. Similarly, you have your permit system. Before doing any job, you have permit system. Similarly, in US, if a factory wants to discharge some waste into the water bodies, it has to get NPDES permit. So this is NPDES. You need to understand what is NPDES from Clean Water Act. Now from Clean Air Act, you have to understand what is National Ambient Air Quality Standards, how much amount of pollutants can be there in the air. That is NAAQS, and NPDES is its permit system, basically how much amount of pollutants can be discharged into the water bodies. Now RCRA, Resource Conservation and Recovery Act. Resource Conservation and Recovery Act, RCRA, very important. It regulates solid and hazardous waste. It regulates solid and hazardous waste. It uses the concept of cradle to grave tracking. Cradle to grave tracking. Cradle means what? It is where the small kids are sleeping. Cradle. Cradle, it's where the small kids, and to grave, grave means it is after the death. So cradle to grave concept. So this is very important. They have asked, where do you relate to this cradle to grave concept? It is RCRA, which is Resource Conservation and Recovery Act, meaning waste is tracked from its creation to its disposal. From the creation to the disposal, it is being tracked. So that is RCRA, which is regulates solid and hazardous waste. Solid waste and hazardous waste. Resource Recovery and Resource Conservation and Recovery Act, RCRA. Cradle to grave tracking, very, very important. It is regulating solid to hazardous waste. Chemical Emergency Preparedness Program, CEPP. Chemical Emergency Preparation Program, CEPP. Facilities must create emergency plans for storing hazardous chemicals. Now, communities' right to know, it has been given in this act, Chemical Emergency Preparedness Program, communities' right to know, because before and all it was not there. Now all the industries has to display what kind of pollutants they are discharging, what is the value, everything they have to list. So that is Chemical Emergency Preparedness Program, CEPP. Facilities must create emergency plan for storing hazardous chemicals, encourages communities' right to know, informing local responders and public. So how much these pollutants it is being emitted, community right to know program, it is CEPP. Now uses cradle to grave tracking, it is from RCRA. So each act is having its own NPDES permit, which is coming under Clean Water Act. Now National Ambient Air Quality Standards, NAAQS, it is CAA, which is Clean Air Act. So this 4 to 5 acts are there. You have to understand which act, what is coming. It has to be there, and it usually they are asking 2 to 3 questions from this module. Okay. Now, which US law regulates air pollution from both stationary and mobile sources? Which US act? Which air pollution? It is air pollution, regulates air pollution means nothing but you have to understand it is Clean Air Act, CAA. Very simple. It is CAA, that is C. Okay, also CAA, it regulates both stationary and mobile. We have already learned that. Now air pollution, what is air pollution? Harmful gases, dust, biological materials, etc. entering into the air. Okay. Primary pollutants directly into the air, secondary pollutants formed by chemical reaction in the atmosphere. Some chemical reaction would be there in the atmosphere and then they emit into the air. So like ozone, O3, smoke and air. Okay, acid rain around. Criteria pollutants, already we have made a detailed video on criteria pollutants. You can refer into that. There are 6 criteria pollutants. First one, carbon monoxide, nitrogen dioxide, sulfur dioxide, particulate matter, lead, ozone. We have made a detailed video on this criteria pollutants. Any doubt, you can refer over there. I am not wasting time because this is a quick reference session. Now, air pollution control devices, how you are controlling this criteria pollutants. So first one is cyclone separator. Cyclone separator uses spinning air to throw out large dust particles. Now they may ask which pollutants can be, which controlling devices can be used to separate these large dust particles. It is cyclone separator. Cyclone, there will be a cyclone type device. Uses spinning, it will be spinning like this, spinning air to throw out large air particles. So large air particles will be thrown out and it can easily separate, it can easily control the air pollution. Cyclone separator. Bag house, traps fine dust in fabric bags. So it will be trapping. Wet scrubber. Scrubber, it's like a shower. It would be sprays liquid to remove gases and particulates. There are wet scrubber and dry scrubber. Wet scrubber, it actually gives this one sprays to remove gases and particulates. Now, electrostatic precipitator, it uses charges to actually to separate, to uses electric device like charges are used, particles, so that they can stick to plates that are collected. Positive and negative charges are used. Okay. So they get separated. Now, what is formed when NOx and VOC react under sunlight? NOx, nitrogen oxide, and volatile organic compound. When they react, they will be forming ozone. Okay. So which device removes large dust particles effectively? Which device removes large dust particles effectively? We have already learned here. It is through cyclone separator. Uses spinning air to throw out large dust particles. Now, water pollution. Chemical waste or pathogens enter water body. Direct discharge is there. Indirect discharge is also there. Direct means directly going to the water. Indirect discharge means after the treatment it is going into the water body. Now, water treatment method. Similarly, you are treating the air. You are treating the air by different methods like cyclone separator is there, bag house, wet scrubber, electrostatic precipitator. In that also, cyclone precipitator is used to control large dust particles. And here water, we have various treatment methods like physical, chemical, biological, and thermal. Physical, like physical separations, screens, etc. It is being separated. Chemical uses some kind of like chlorine, everywhere it is used. Biological, some kind of microbial organism, digest organic matter, some kind of microbes are used to treat the water. Thermal means heating, normal, which we are doing in our home. We are heating. Okay. Now, what does NPDES stands for? Already we have discussed this. NPDES. Now, what is NPDES? National Pollutant Discharge Elimination System. We have discussed this NPDES. You might be remembering. What is NPDES? This is the quick revision notes. Clean Water Act requires companies to get NPDES. NPDES means what? National Pollutant Discharge Elimination System. Before discharging pollutants into the water, you should get NPDES. Okay. So, water pollution, NPDES. Which method kills pathogen using heat? So using heat, it is thermal treatment. Already we have discussed here. There are 4 types of treatment of water. One is thermal, biological, chemical, and physical. Name itself indicates. Nothing to be by-hearted in that. Now, waste management hierarchy. There is a ranking system. Okay, least environmental preferred, from the most preferred to the least preferred. This is the most preferred. Prevention is the most preferred. And then recovery is the least preferred. Recovery is the least preferred. So how would you, what is the preference? Most to least preferred ways to deal with waste. Most, it is prevention. We will be avoiding the generation of waste. Disposal is the least preferred of waste handling. It is the last resort, that is we are landfilling or incineration. Okay. So prevention, you can minimize, or you have to prevent, avoid generation of waste. How you are dealing with waste? You have to avoid. You will not at all create the waste itself. Minimization, reduce the amount of waste created. You don't have to buy unnecessary, unwanted things. And that way you are preventing the waste. You are preventing the waste to become. Minimization, whenever you are buying something, you say that I don't want cover. So you are reducing or minimizing the use of one-time use plastic. Reuse, again use the same thing. Then recycle. Reprocess into new items. Energy recovery, burn it, use that energy for something else. Disposal, you are using landfills, you are putting into the lands and all. Okay. And then it is incineration. Last resort is landfills or incineration. Okay. What is the most environmentally preferred method? Most environmental preferred method is prevention. Least environmental preferred method is actually disposal. We don't like disposal. Okay. Least environment, because it is not good for the environment, because we are putting into the land and we are concreting over it, or we will be making a big dump and we'll be putting all the waste into that land. So land is also getting polluted. Water bodies are also getting polluted. If we are using incineration method, air is also getting polluted. Okay. Now RCRA, hazardous waste classification. RCRA also we have read on the various laws. What is RCRA? We have to understand the full form. RCRA, Resource Conservation and Recovery Act. RCRA, it is having the concept of cradle to grave concept. So now RCRA has given the classification. This is very important. Very, very important. Now what is the RCRA classification? RCRA has given the classification. Any waste that is dangerous or potentially harmful to the health or environment, that is hazardous waste. It has given the classification, which is F list, K list, P list, U list. What is F list? Which is very general process, non-specific sources, waste from general process like solvent cleaning and all. F list, it's very general process. K list, industry specific, very important, from specific sectors like petroleum, refinery, etc. It is coming under K list. Now what is P list? Very important, they may ask question. Acutely hazardous, unused product, very toxic, discarded chemicals, etc. It is actually very toxic, which is acutely hazardous, unused products. Now what is U list? U list is toxic, unused product, less dangerous than P list but still hazardous. Okay, it is less dangerous, that is coming after P, it is coming U. So P is the most hazardous, K is industry specific, F is general, U is less hazardous than P but it is unused product. Okay, toxic, unused product, very important. Please understand F, K, P, U. F, what is F, what is K, what is P, and what is U. Now characteristics waste. This waste has its characteristics. First one, ignitability, corrosivity, reactivity, and toxicity. Okay, so ignitability means what? Flash point would be less than 60 degrees centigrade, solvents and fuels. Corrosivity, pH would be less than 2 or pH would be greater than 12.5. So imagine how much corrosive it is. Battery acid, of course, it is very corrosive. Reactivity, reacts violently, cyanides, etc. Toxicity, very toxic, poisons water, soil if leached. Heavy metals, okay, like lead and mercury. Now, what characteristics makes a waste hazardous? If it has pH of 1.5. If it has pH of 1.5 means we have learned it is corrosivity. Corrosivity is less than 2, it is corrosivity is less than pH is less than 2 means it is corrosivity. Yes, it is corrosivity. What is RCRA list? Includes unused commercial chemicals. Unused commercial chemicals means what? We have already discussed here. Unused commercial, unused products, it is U list. RCRA unused product, it is U list. K list means what? It is industry specific. K list is industry specific. F list, it is general. So this is very important. Please read this. Please get this by hearted, and this also, it is very important. Please get this also by hearted. Okay, and now filtration process. This is also important, a process to remove unwanted particles from gas using various membranes. So microfiltration is there, ultrafiltration is there, microfiltration, ultrafiltration, nanofiltration, reverse osmosis. Reverse osmosis is the least one. Okay, less than 0.001 micrometers. Salts, all dissolved solids, etc. Electronics and desalination process. Reverse osmosis, water filters we are using. Okay, this one microfiltration, 0.1 to 10 micrometer. Milk, okay, milk, bacteria solids, it removes bacteria solids. This is what is important, where it is applied and what it removes. Viruses and proteins, pharma industries use ultrafiltration. Then nanofiltration, it is coming organic compounds, etc. Okay, what it is filtering, that is important, and what it is removing, that is also important. That is what it is asked. Which filtration process removes dissolved salts and smallest particles? It is reverse osmosis. Okay, reverse osmosis. Which filtration method is used in dairy industries? Very important. Dairy industries, it is microfiltration it is used. Okay, so this is all about this module. This is a quick revision module. We'll be having such modules always. Please comment whether it has been useful for you or not. Also, please share with your friends so that we will also understand how much people it has been benefited, and this gives us immense happiness to create more such videos. I hope you are all enjoying this session, and which topics you want, just comment. Okay, thank you for listening, and please subscribe who have not subscribed. I can understand that almost 80% of people have not subscribed. There are people who are watching but people are not subscribing. Please subscribe to our channel, and also please share in the WhatsApp group which is dedicated for safety. Thank you.